Space, the final frontier. My name is Captain Foley, and these are my adventures. Captain's Log, Stardate 201603.07. Well, guys, we've done it. We've hit the $700 Patreon mark. We're actually up to $720 right now. So that means you guys get the NSEA Protector episode coming up for Fleetyards. That's an amazing milestone, and we want to thank you guys very much for that. Just keep in mind, episode 3 on the X-303 ship from Stargate and episode 4 on the Pegasus from the new BSG all have their own Patreon goals to get those Fleetyards episodes out. After we hit a $1,000 goal on Patreon, Fleetyards will be a regular thing, probably be a monthly show. We're not sure yet, but once we hit $1,000, we'll be able to deal with that a lot better. So thank you guys very much for helping us out with that, and the commander and I are we're happy. I got to get to work writing now and do an NSEA Protector script, and we'll get that episode started for you guys. But right now, currently finishing up one of our 50th anniversary specials, and once that's finished, writing and filming, then we will get to the NSEA as soon as we can. So stay tuned for that. And also, as promised, I'm going to show you some of my collection in this episode because you guys kind of asked for it. So after the collection, I got a few things I want to talk about, and then we'll get into your questions and comments. So stay tuned, guys. Let's go see what we can see. Well, guys, I have behind me the main bulk of my collection. Last time I showed you the wall behind me during most Trekyards episodes and kind of my desk area. And as promised, I'm going to show you a bit more of my collection. Now, there are older videos that I've done on the channel about this stuff. If you want to go back to the oldest videos on the channel, that's kind of what this channel started out as. So please feel free to do that. I kind of highlight stuff in more detail. I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown right now, and we'll go from there. And we'll start here with my Federation, the First 150 Years book. The batteries in it are dead, but if you lift the book up and push the button, you hear Captain or Admiral Sulu talking about the history of the Federation. We got my blockheads, Kirk and Spock, Mr. Potato Heads. Everything I need to know about life I learned from Star Trek poster. We got the new Ships of the Line calendar for this year. Of course, every year I have one. And just a few other little extras on this wall. If we go down here, we've got some Transformers, obviously. Those are the Hard Hero busts of Megatron and Optimus. Under here we have the Franklin Mint 25th Anniversary Enterprise, so 25 years ago. Back behind that, I can't really see because of the lighting, but there's a Kirk plate. Over here we have my 1/1000th scale Enterprise refit from Polar Lights, and the little Hallmark TOS Enterprise that was on the Christmas tree this year, and it's on the stand, so we can hit that. That's a cool little one of my favorites. Moving up here, we have a tricorder and a communicator, the 25th anniversary Franklin Mint phaser, pewter phaser. I've done a captain's review on that as well. Here we got my TOS Franklin Mint 3D chess set, silver and gold electroplated pieces. 3D chess is fun if you don't know how to play. Learn, because it's fun. There's the instruction booklet behind it. Coin from Vegas 2013. Got the little Enterprise here, which is also a Hallmark one. This one doesn't light up. This was also on my Christmas tree.
Space.
It's got the stand with the card speaking.
These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
Got the Star Trek Online poster.
To explore strange new worlds. To seek out new life and new civilizations.
And I apologize, some of the stuff might be a little dusty.
No one has done before.
Go down here, we've got an Enterprise, of course. Unicron, Omega Supreme, Bumblebee, a whack load of Lamborghinis. I'm a huge Lamborghini fan. Moving up here, we have my Star Trek 3 phaser, D7 model I built, my Romulan Franklin Mint bird of prey, little porcelain Enterprise there, the refit from Franklin Mint. We got the complete lineup of ships here. We got NX-01, TOS, the refit. The Galaxy class is gone. Oh my god, if you've been paying attention to Trekyards, you know that I was been playing with it in the other room. Perhaps for research purposes. We'll never know. Anyway, moving along, we've got the Enterprise E, which is the prototype one that was done by Playmates. So the nacelles aren't quite correct, and the impulse engine at the back is wrong, things like that. Interesting little piece. Here we have my 25th anniversary Franklin Mint chess set, which I've done a review on. Well, not a review. I kind of showed you guys on a past video, so check it out. In the middle there is just a little turntable. Something might be going on that soon. So you got your adversaries on this side and your good guys on that side. Look up 25th anniversary Franklin Mint chess set on YouTube and type in Trekyards as well, and you'll find the video on that so you can learn more about it. There we got some of the Art Asylum figures legs that I'm not using, which is kind of creepy that they're all in there. Some cups, some mugs, my Enterprise C that I built. Behind that's my refit blueprints. Some games. My Hallmark ornaments. Here we've got a Jadzia Dax from Trials and Tribulations. That's labeled as Captain Benjamin Sisko. Some old 45 LP records to Starve a Fleaver. And In Vino Veritas. The Amok Time, Kirk and Spock. Move over here, we got a very attractive Orion. Some Star Trek temporary tattoos. Beautiful shot of the Enterprise. Switch plate cover that I painted. And a signed photo of the sub-commander. Forget his name offhand, so I apologize. And over here we've got some cool stuff. We got the little Mini Mates Enterprise, some prop tricorders and communicators, sorry. My Star Trek Online special edition for when you had to purchase it, and Star Trek Online game time card. Here's some more. Got an Eagle Moss ship there. Hallmark NX-01, and then the complete lineup to scale of each other in 2500 series from Polar Lights. We've got the TOS, the refit, Enterprise B, Enterprise C, Enterprise D, and Enterprise E. And yes, I built those, all those. So got some of my little figures, tricorders, communicators, phasers. We've got a bunch of micro machines, as well as some FASA miniatures. Apologize if there's a little bit dusty. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to dust it, so. Damaged NX-01 and then a Mirror NX. Trading cards. Some Romulan ships. Moving up to this shelf, we've got some game tokens, and those are from the CNET Star Trek game. Some Mini Mates, some Hallmark figures, some Playmates figures, and some Art Asylum figures. A lot of this stuff you guys have seen at Christmas time on my tree. Got some figures there that you might recognize. Migo Kirk with the glasses, Mirror Universe Sulu, Captain Christopher Pike there in the old captain's chair, the newer captain's chair, and some tribbles. The BK toys from 2009 movie, some Creo stuff as well. All the 2009 collection except for Uhura, I'm missing her. Bottle of Romulan Ale. My fixed to look a lot better, JJ Prize, phone, watch, clock, an extra Bandai refit Enterprise that doesn't work. It doesn't light up anymore. The other one's in my room, of course, by my desk. You guys see it behind me in all of my captain's logs. Got the Pez dispensers, TOS. We got a Romulan over here, which is not PG, so I'm not going to show the rest of that picture. Moving up here, we've got my phaser collection. Star Trek 2, Enterprise, Star Trek 3, a resin one that I painted years ago. Some movie snippets, cells. And then over here, some TOS phasers. This one's the Playmates one. It's kind of bigger and sturdier, and kind of, I like it more almost than the Art Asylum ones, but the Art Asylum ones are more accurate, so got a few of those. Over here we've got some Star Trek art. Got the Hanging Reliant and the Hanging Enterprise, both of which do light up. I'll actually light those up for you right now. Oh. Fell out of the ceiling. That's not good. Look at the things I do for you guys. Where's the button on this one? There we go. Oh, batteries in that one are dead. Oh, that was unexciting. Anyway, move down here a bit further. We've got some Transformers. Millennium Falcon I painted. And of course, I'm into Star Wars as well. Huge R2-D2 fan, as you can see. And there's a bunch of miscellaneous stuff on these shelves as well. Some Superman, some Batman, Transformers, some cars I collect, and more Transformers down here where you can't really see because it's dark. So I apologize. More Transformers, a bunch of Optimus Primes, and a whole bunch more Optimus Primes, as he's one of my favorite characters. So, quite a collection there for anybody that's a Transformers fan. Poster. Got some more of the Hard Hero busts here. We got Ironhide in the back there, Rodimus, Starscream, Soundwave, Wheeljack, and Prowl. A lot of books. Some of my wife's collectibles in here. And over here we go to my wall of fame, wall of Star Trek fame. Some good autographs. Made out to both me and my wife. And that's it, guys. A quick rundown of my some of my other collection. There's still more to go. There's more over on that side of the room, which you've kind of seen already in this episode. And there's a few other things around the house that I might show you in future Captain's Logs if you're interested. So let me know in the comments for sure. And again, guys, thank you so much for making us reach our Patreon goal. It helps us out immensely. It helps with the production of the show. It basically pays for our time, for me writing the scripts and doing the research, to Samuel doing all the editing and stuff. So it really helps us out, because otherwise there might not be a Trekyards, because we just can't afford to do it for free continually. So hope you guys understand that. And let's get on with the regular Captain's Logs now. I'm going to get to a few discussion points that I want to speak on. Hey guys, safe and sound back in the regular familiar settings of the Trekyards Command Central here. So thank you guys for everything that you've done for us. I got a few things to talk about in my trusty little notepad here, so let's take a look. So, one of the things I've written down is, what is canon exactly? Now, there was a big debate going on about what is canon. Canon is what's seen on screen officially, but I've said this before, canon is what you make it. We all each have our own personal headcanon, things that we adjust and change as needed to suit what keeps us sane, basically. So canon can be whatever you want it to be. There's no set rule for canon, although one thing I do have to point out, canon is spelt with one N. Two N's is a weapon, one N is a genre of stories, or a collection of stories. So if you're rating canon in that sense, it's one N. Kind of a pet peeve of mine, two N's is a weapon. The bickering on the Trekyards page has to stop. There's been quite a bit of it, and I don't care if you don't like JJ. I don't care if you love JJ. I don't have a problem with you saying that you don't like JJ. Just do it in a polite manner. And if somebody disagrees with you, don't argue with them. And if you do argue with them, make sure it's politically correct and correct and polite, and don't be a douchebag, is basically what it boils down to. Be polite, don't be a troll, otherwise you will get booted from the Trekyards page. I don't like doing it, but we have an awesome admin team now that has been checking up and making sure everything's all right. No major things. I find around a full moon, actually, things go a little crazy, and it's kind of strange that way. My dad was a paramedic for 34 years, 35 years, and he always said that around the full moon, there's some crazy stuff that happens, and I actually noticed it on the Trekyards page. Right before and right after and during a full moon, you get some crazy people on there, and they insist that they're right, and they need to insult everybody else that doesn't agree with them. And that just will not fly. So they're putting an end to that right now. I also have on here NSEA Protector episode at $700 on Patreon. This was obviously written a little while ago before we hit the goal yesterday. So thank you guys again for that, and stay tuned for that. I got more work to do now. Thanks a lot, guys. Telling you, the nerve of some people. I'm just kidding. There's also been a big deflector dish hoopla on the Constellation class. Where's the deflector? Where is it on the Reliant? I got in kind of an argument with somebody about that, and I feel bad because I came off a little bit harsh, and I didn't mean to. Basically, we talked to Rick Sternbach about that, and the Constellation, they kind of decided it can either be in the bottom sensor pallets or facing forward in the saucer, but hidden behind some kind of screening, which looks like just the hull. And a lot of jets these days have the same thing for radar. It's concealed within the nose cone. That's kind of the thing that Rick was going for, and how he explains it away. There's no real correct answer for that. It's whatever you want. I mean, I don't have a problem. Every time I hear where's the deflector dish on a ship, I just want to rip my hair out, because who cares? Maybe the warp profile of the warp field that's generated, they can change the profile to have debris deflect off and away, so they don't need an actual deflector, a long-range deflector. That's one of my thoughts. I mean, that would be a great solution to the problem. A modified warp field that has design characteristics in it that resemble deflector technology or shield technology. Totally plausible. And then they ask why, the Federation aesthetic is to have the big deflector on the front. Well, true, but I mean, in today's military, there are planes that don't have, a vertical stabilizer at the back. It's not a plain aesthetic, but it's something that is experimental and they're experimenting with. So I don't see any reason why Starfleet can't do the same. Have an experimental prototype that has a different kind of deflector. Let's try that out. If it works good, we can incorporate it in the next line of ships. If not, we've experimented with it. We can still use it. We'll keep working on it. So I chalk it up to comparing it to today's modern military. There's different variants of certain things that suit the testing phases of the military. So there you go. Deflector problem solved. I don't want to hear any more about it. Unless it's rational, calm, civilized debate and discussion. Good news about the new series. Nick Meyer's on as a writer. He said they're working on something that's going to be new and unique, but very cool. And I'm excited about that because anytime Nick Meyer's been involved with Star Trek, he's always blown me away and made it amazing. And the cool thing is he was never really a fan of Star Trek before he started working on Star Trek 2. And we know we knocked JJ for saying, we keep saying, oh, he was not a fan of Star Trek. He's just a fan of Star Wars, and he even said as much. That's fine. Nick Meyer wasn't a fan of Star Trek either, but he understood that he needed to watch all the material and stay true to it. And even that he didn't really do. He didn't really stay true to it. He kind of made it more militaristic for Star Trek 2 and for Star Trek 6. But that's kind of cool. So I don't know what the new series is going to offer. Rod Roddenberry is on board. A few other people are on board now, and it's looking to be an amazing lineup. A lot of rumors that it's going to be in the Prime universe, so we're excited about that. And I just want to say that you guys need to give the new series a fair chance and a fair shake during this whole lead-up process, and even when it starts. TNG was hated and panned quite a bit by Trekkies, official Trekkies, when it first came out, saying that the new fans don't understand Star Trek, but that all worked out really well. There's a very few people now that think The Next Generation sucks. Even those naysayers at the beginning kind of hopped on board because it got really good and it stayed true to Star Trek. So we need to keep that in mind leading up to a new series. We need to keep our heads about us and be rational human beings and realize that, things aren't always the best at first, especially like TNG. The first three seasons sucked. Same with Deep Space Nine. After that, they hit their stride, they get their legs, and they go on. I'm sure Enterprise would have been the same. They really stepped things up in the fourth season. That's because they kind of had to cram like 4 seasons of shows into one season because they knew they were getting canceled, which I'm glad they had the opportunity to do, and it wasn't canceled kind of like last minute like TOS was, even though TOS, the writing was on the wall before season 2. But still. Anyway. So yes, give it a chance. I remember my first thoughts. I was young. I remember how old I was when TNG came out, but I remember thinking, a French captain. And I was a young kid, so I pictured a guy with a beret and a little pencil-thin mustache with a French accent, Hello, I'm the USS Enterprise captain. I know, right? And I was like, well, and it's so many years in the future from Kirk, they probably just beam from planet to planet. They don't even need a ship. I remember saying this to my brother. My brother's like, you're an idiot. But I was a kid, so... And now we got JJ, who does, in fact, beam from planet to planet. So I foretold the future before it happened, and I feel bad for that. And then Enterprise came out, and my brother was like, I don't know why it's called Enterprise, because there was no other Enterprise, so how are they going to fit an Enterprise in? And I said, I was optimistic. I was like, well, maybe the ship's not called Enterprise. Maybe it's just, this is an enterprising new thing that they're doing, going out into space. So it's called Enterprise. This is a great enterprise that we're attempting. That also didn't pan out. So all these early news reports we're getting about the series and the negativity towards them, I don't appreciate. You guys need to be positive and think on think that even if it sucks at first, it could get really good. It might not. Don't get me wrong. It could be a total flop and a failure. I don't think it will be with what I've seen and heard so far. But you never know. Just keep a good head on your shoulders. Let's be responsible Trekyards people and adults and grown-ups, and let's keep things that way. The other thing is we are considering opening up a Trekyards store. Now, good news is we have talked to somebody that's helping us with that. We need to do some market research, so we need your guys' input on whether you'd buy shirts, whether you'd buy hats and patches and things like that, and what you'd want to buy. We did a poll on the Trekyards page. It didn't get a lot of response, and that's not what we need. We need a lot of response. So check that out. Check the poll out, and put your 2 cents worth in if you have the time. Also, the Trekyards website, www.trekyards.com, is due for revamping. It's coming up very soon. We're going to be adding a store element to that, and you can expect a store probably within the next 6 months. We're hoping. And it's going to have a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of stuff in talks about that. We have a few inside people in a few different locations that we've been talking to and discussing things with. So there's some good possibilities coming out of that. So stay tuned for that, guys. As it is, the website's kind of right now. But we intend to make it a little bit better and make it something that's more focused and more conducive to what we need. So that's something that's exciting that's coming up. So yeah. All right, so let's get into some of the comments here. I don't have my iPad. Well, I do. It's upstairs. I just didn't grab it. So I'm just going to read the comments on the computer, which is in front of me here. So for my last captain's log. So start with Robert Hayes. Surprised you don't have any Star Wars models. Well, as you just saw in the other room, I have the Millennium Falcon that I painted myself. I have an X-Wing that I painted myself and built, which is highlighted in another video. Type in Trekyards Star Wars models in the search bar in YouTube and you'll find it. Watch it. I might show those off in another video in the future. So, sorry, I do have some. Robert. Just kidding. Stiggy's Guitar Loft says, I have converted both my laptop and my wife's Windows to Windows 10. It runs much better, in my opinion, and my brother is an IT software designer and agrees it is the best Windows since XP. Well, since that last video that I asked your advice on the Windows 10, I have upgraded to Windows 10. I haven't tried any of my games. I'm sure they don't work, but I never really play them anyway, so it's not a huge deal. I'm sure they'll work eventually. So if you're out there and you know what you're doing with computers, make sure my patched games will work, will you please? But yes, since I've upgraded, I've actually enjoyed it very much. It works great, had no problems, no hiccups during the conversion process. Everything is great. I am super happy with my computer now, more than I was before. So Windows 10 for Trekyards, at least for this half of Trekyards. I know Samuel has not yet upgraded, and I don't think he will. I think he's running Windows 7. I don't know what he's running. I think it's Windows 7. I think he said that in his last video. So, yeah. Anyway, somebody in the last video said, I didn't know you were interested in girls, Commander. Really? What does that even matter, first of all? Second of all, he's British. He's not gay. There is a difference. Anyway, you guys are doing really well on the captain's or the commander's logs commander's Q&A questions, and I really appreciate that. He's actually doing a great job with that. Although the first 10 questions, Samuel, really, I address all of them because I love my people. And I know he wants to keep them short. He wants to keep them 20 minutes or under half an hour at least. And he does the slick editing, and I don't. So he did more than 10, I know, but I had to comment on that. Samuel, the Trekyards people are counting on you. They want to know the answers to their questions or the questions to their answers. And if you backlog stuff and start reading questions from the first one on your fifth one, you're never going to get ahead, because trust me, you get a lot of them. I got 85 on this one, which I might not read all of them because some of them are doubles and stuff, but, you know, stay tuned. Next is Carl Edwards. Have you ever done a Trekyards episode on the V'ger ship? No. Is it on the to-do list? Yes, it is. We've done 1 or 2 animations that haven't been released yet on the V'ger ship, which, Samuel, we need to get on to release those. So, Captain Roxas, may I just say, you, Captain, are an amazing modeler and painter. Well, thank you. Especially when I model thongs and banana hammocks. But you haven't seen those pictures yet. Maybe you never will. No, but my model building skills are intermediate, upper mid, intermediate. I'm not a professional by any means. I have a lot of friends who are professional model builders who are teaching me a lot of tricks and stuff along the way. So I'm learning, I'm becoming better, but thank you very much for your compliment. Joshua Brown, great vid. Thanks for the tour. Well, I just got another one, so I hope you enjoyed it. My question is, do you think they should have more uniform colors instead of using gold for security, security blue for medical, science, etc.? No, I don't think they should. End up looking like a LGBT. I think that's it. Yeah. End up looking like a LGBT cruise ship, if that's the case. So no, we don't need all the colors of the rainbow on there. Just, I think it's good the way they have it. And I actually liked during the movie years where they went with the more muted and subtle turtleneck colors and kind of got the uniform color the same. So Enterprise H, those are some pretty good, cool ideas. I thought of using shielding, but I limited that to personal thermal deflectors. This is for the additions to the new Starfleet uniforms, because we didn't see much of advanced technology in the 29th century. In any case, I hope that the new series does something cool and innovative with them. That would be neat if they improve the uniforms. Would you agree with the notion and description that the Federation would use the Arcturans as a species of clones for infantry? I wanted to do a YouTube video on the infantry division used in the elite hazard team, but I'm a bit torn on the idea. I honestly can't see Starfleet or the Federation using clones. I think it's unethical. I think they would think it's unethical. And I think that would cause a lot of backlash among the Federation. So no, I don't think they would use clones. You may answer the questions I asked the commander. What technology should the next hero ship have in your opinion? Cool ones. I don't know. I'd like to see a external holographic projector on the ship that can change its appearance or project other ships into a fleet, much like we see in Star Trek Online. I think that'd be cool. And finally, a question you should like as an R2-D2 Star Trek fan. I think you meant Star Wars fan. Would you buy an Exocomp toy if there were any available? Probably, yeah. I think that'd be kind of cool. You should have an Exocomp quadcopter, like floats. You know, you've seen the Millennium Falcon, the Titanium shuttle, you know, things like that that are made are quadcopters that are made to look really good. Let's do an Exocomp like that. That's a great idea. I'd probably buy that. Next is from Keyshade Hyena. Windows 10 does not feel like a finished product and has a bunch of annoying bugs and features, which I haven't run into yet. But Vista and 8 aren't that great either. Yeah, 8 kind of sucked. That's what I was on before. My recommendation would be to wait a little longer. If the free upgrades are available in July 29th, there are free tools that will let you easily disable some of the questionable in-service terms, like 00 shut up. Yeah, when I did a custom setup when I did it, so I turned off a lot of the privacy things and spy snooping things and stuff that they had. So you can, if you do customized, it's probably a better idea. So Mr. Martecci. A tour of Trekyards Command. Your room is absolutely amazing. It's the kind of room where I feel like I could look anywhere in any direction and you'd find a dozen things that have some story, some memory connected to them, and it's so nice of you to share some of them with us. Got a lot of those. Every time my kids come down here, they sit with us and we talk at night, and they're just looking around. Same with my friends. They always see something new every time, even though I might not have changed anything. But it's fun to see the little changes that I do make, because I do make little changes subtly here and there, even between captain's logs, which you guys might not notice. But yeah, it is a fun environment. Keeps you stimulated and lots of great ideas coming. And of course, that's what a captain's ready room should look like in Star Trek Future, right? Especially with replicators, you don't really have to store anything. You can just replicate it whenever you want. So the only things you need to put on in your room would be the ones that you have kind of emotional and memory value. That you have so many of them, I think, shows that our captain really has a life full of cool experiences. The video title is also reminded me of a question that I had. Did you ever think about creating some blueprints or LCARS pictures of Trekyards Command in universe? Would it be a big Starfleet station like Vanguard, or more like an outpost like K7, or something entirely different? Ooh. Actually, we have considered that. We've got a side project, which we mentioned earlier. It was an in-universe thing that we've kind of put on the back burner for now because we've got a lot of other stuff on the go. But it's something that is still in the works and still viable and could be something that could happen. So stay tuned maybe for that. I don't know when, but it's definitely something that we've looked into, and I think it'd be cool. As for all the stuff I have, I mean, I've collected this over years and years and years. 20 plus years, probably close to 30 years of collecting stuff and keeping it. A lot of it I didn't actually get back from my divorce, so my wife kind of snagged some of it. So I don't have my entire collection, to be perfectly honest with you, but I've built up a lot since then. I don't know what you guys know, but this is the original Gorn symbol. So I just thought I'd point that out. A lot of you might not be familiar with the Gorn, and you're used to the newer symbols from like Starfleet Command games, but that's the original symbol. It kind of looks like a reptilian claw or hand. There you go. Learn something new all up in the Trekyards Captain's Log video. Sorry. Jesus, what do you think about the news that Nicholas Meyer is going to be a writer-producer on the 2001 series? I think it's freaking awesome. I've already gone over that, but yes, it's absolutely a great thing. Cloudzilla, Cap, love this stuff. How about a review of the ship from everyone's favorite Star Trek movie, the NSEA Protector? Holy crap, a few hours later, the NSEA Protector trailer. Coincidence? Hell yeah! It would have been a coincidence because that's been in the works for quite a while in the planning stages, but yeah. You're on the ball. Gwen's dad, 2003. How long does it take to dust this place, or do you have a weird dust-free environment? Well, as you saw, and as I mentioned in the other room, it is dusty, and it does take quite a while to dust. It's kind of irritating, actually. So I don't dust all that often. I just don't touch anything, because if you touch it, you get fingerprints on it, and you got to dust everything else. And my OCD doesn't allow that. There's just this fine, even layer of dust collect on everything, and then after like a month or two, I'll take an hour or two to dust it all, put it back, maybe rearrange a few things, change a few things, move a few things into different rooms, change it up a bit. But yeah, I don't dust that often, unfortunately, especially that stuff in the other room, because there's so many little things. I might do that 4 or 5 times a year. It doesn't get super dusty in there, but it's just annoying. I wish I had a dust-free environment. Copernicus 2001. With the Axanar CBS lawsuit, I was disappointed, as I was looking forward to Axanar finally being produced sooner rather than later. Lots of good fanfics to tide us over, though. Hearing lots of new rumors about the new series from CBS. What would be a good platform to discuss or promote? Suggestions or good ideas? Any thoughts? Would Twitter or some Star Trek BBS? Trying to keep it positive, but I strongly hope that they stay away from JJ Trek really destroying Romulus and Vulcan. What were they thinking? Yeah, there's lots of good groups to talk about that on Facebook. Although when we do the revamp of the Trekyards page, we're thinking like the web page, trekyards.com. We're thinking of doing a chat room, discussion room where you can talk about anything, not just ship related. There'll be ship related one, obviously, like a thread, or I don't know how it works, room for just ships. But I mean, people have asked that we do a Facebook page on just general Trek on Facebook, and we don't want to do that because that dilutes our product a little bit. We already have a few Trekyards pages on there. There's the Star Trek Timelines game, the Star Trek Online headquarters, Trekyards Declassified group, and regular Trekyards, and then the Trekyards model building group. So we got a lot of Trekyards on there. We don't want to dilute it down too much more, and we don't want a lot of bickering and squabbling going on, so we don't want to moderate that kind of stuff. But we might add something like that to the new Trekyards website. We're going to see. So hopefully that upgrade will be coming soon. Aussie Railroader. What do you think about the new 2017 series? We've kind of already gone over that. I just posted some stuff, rumors from Trek Core about the 2017 series in the Trekyards Facebook group. Well, thank you. Commander Rotel. Somehow I failed to make the connection between the Orion Slave Girl poster and Star Trek. I was convinced it was She-Hulk. No, man, that's an Orion Slave Girl. Pretty creepy, apparently. Daniel Collins. Thanks for another great Captain's Log with a nice recap of your filming and workspace. I'd love to see the other areas of your place for an update. Maybe if you watched the beginning of this video, you might have. I've seen the older video tours of your house with all the different collections. The Shangri-La model looks great. If there are any plans for them to be available to the public at some point in scale with other Trek models, one 1000, one 2500, and one 357, etc. I'm looking forward to this episode with Bill Krause, that's for sure. As am I. As for the model, I'm sure that you'll be able to buy them eventually. That's a 1 2500 scale, the one that I have, so 1 1000 scale of the Shangri-La would be awesome. Derek Wasden. Fun. Love seeing the 80s stuff too. Thanks for sharing. No problem. Saphiro Space Pirate. Windows 10 is far more easier to work with. If you have Windows 8, change it to Windows 10. But if you have 7, keep it installed, as I think Samuel did. He's got 7 and I had 8, so I needed to upgrade. So, Joe Diaz. Would love to see a view of the space from afar. What does the whole room look like? Well, I posted pictures of that on the Trekyards page. I would do it now, but it's kind of messy. So, no. Maybe eventually I'll do it. Next Captain's Log, I'll walk up to my space and whatever. I don't know. We'll see. The biggest... there's another Windows question. Jason Aldridge. I really enjoyed the tour, Captain. Really rad. Thank you. Love that people are using the word rad. That's a new thing. We want to do that. We want to get rad. That's not a new thing. We got to get rad back into the public consciousness. It's radical. It's rad. As per my brother. My brother Steve wanted me to use rad instead of sleek in the videos, and I've kind of been doing that. And some of you have taken it to heart and actually say rad on a lot of the comments. So please keep it up. Let's get rad to become a thing again. It's helping my brother out. Ryan Shankland. What weapons do Borg cubes have because they are beams but green, so not disruptors? And do they have shields or not? I remember that in Voyager they transported into cubes, and in Legacy they had no shields. I don't think Borg cubes have shields. They have regenerative shielding, but I don't think that's the same as shields per se. And as for the green beams, I know they're cutter beams. I believe that they're focused energy beams. They're not phasers, they're not disruptors, they're not anything that we really know. They can modulate them probably between all of those things because they've assimilated all that technology. So who knows what they are. They're probably a combination of all of those into one beam, which would be brutal, which they are. Trevor LaForce. The base for your 350 refit looks rad. There's rad again. Thank you, Trevor. Looking forward to seeing the finished product, as am I. That refit's really kicking my ass. I never wanted to build one because it's such a difficult build, especially when you're lighting it. So I didn't want to buy the model, and then my friend gave me the model, and then I'm like, oh, now I got to build the model, and now it's in the process of being built. So, yeah. Baltic, 1284. Talks about adding Trekyards on Facebook and talking about the Windows 10 thing, so I won't get into that. James Oldfield, another good log entry. Agree with your recent unboxing views that someone should produce a loot Trek block box for Trekkies. But what would you like to see included in such a box? Was the USS Executioner your first command? If not, what ship was? USS Executioner was my first command, yes, indeed. But that's another story. That might be our in-universe thing. Who knows? As for the Trek box, I know that this month's sci-fi block from Nerd Block is actually all Star Wars stuff. Like, it's the 50th anniversary of Trek, guys. Let's give us a Trek box this year sometime. Hopefully they do that. As for the idea, though, our Trekyards store, we might have exclusive memberships for that. If you sign up, you might get a different shirt and patch or something every month. That's something we're looking into doing. How would you guys feel about that idea? Kind of like a monthly Trekyards shipment to your house. You get a new shirt based on one of the big ships we did that month or something. And a patch, it's something that we've been considering. And I think that'd be a great idea. But you have to be signed up and pay a slight membership fee, obviously, monthly to get that. But, I mean, that's something that's on the radar, so to speak. Zeppo the Clown. Would you want the new Trek series set in the Voyager, Deep Space Nine, TNG era, or on a different ship or station? Or do you think that it will be set on a future Enterprise in the future of that era? I really, to God, hope they don't do another Enterprise. I mean, I love Enterprise. I love all the Enterprises. I love all the crews. But I'd like to see something new. And I think something just like maybe a decade after the series finale or the season finale of Voyager, I think would be fantastic. Something a little more advanced, maybe a political unrest in the Federation, something like that. But I think the future is the way to go. Or a ship that time travels and does different adventures in different time periods, and each season's a different time period, and they have to solve some political intrigue or participate in the temporal Cold War in some way. I think that might be interesting as well. Dave Jane? John? I don't know. A couple of hyposprays should put that wisdom tooth extraction in the rearview mirror. Yeah, it's still a little bit sore. Getting a lot better. But Thomas Clark, hey Captain, how's it going? How do you start planning a Trekyards episode? Well, first we decide on a ship, and then I pull up all my resources, pull out all my books that include the ship, do a lot of writing, then do a lot of scripting, then do a lot of rearranging of that script, then do a lot of polishing of that script, then send that script off to Samuel. He adds his little bits of information, questions he has, interesting facts that he might know that I don't, sends it to me. I look at it, go, okay, let's reword that a little bit, let's change this, let's polish that. And that's usually the final script. So that's about it. But yeah, we just usually have a brainstorming session like we're doing tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff to plan out. And we just discuss what we're going to be doing next, come up with a list of ships and go yay or nay on those. And that's how it works. Empyrean Frost. I could tell you were wanting to say Bajoran. Would an episode on the ships of the gods and men be called for? Yes, we actually have an old script from very early on written about that. It's never seen the light of day, though. It's in the finished, almost finished script folder. It might come out and play someday. We'll see. Wake Roberts. Hey, Cap. I've been watching your videos for a couple of weeks now, and I love the channel. My question for you this week. What did you think of the other Federation ships from the TNG era designs? The Springfield class, New Orleans class, Freedom class, Cheyenne class, etc. Do you have a favorite? Will any of these be making their way into future episodes soon? I'm guessing you're planning on featuring them all eventually. Keep up the great work. Yes, we are featuring all of those ships and more eventually. My other favorite TNG era ship, I don't know, I'd have to say Ambassador class. It's not really TNG era. I guess it's earlier than that. I don't know, the Nova class is cool. Rhode Island class. I mean, there's lots of cool ones. I can't even, off the top of my head, I can't think of what my favorite would be, so I apologize. Stuart Sexton, Frontier's Own Books. Okay, I'll ask a similar question to the one I asked of Commander Calkins. I know you played Starfleet Battles and have also indicated knowledge of FASA ships. So, of the licensed non-canon ships, canon spelled with 2 N's, 1 N, what are some of your favorites? Also, yes, a tour of the other room would be awesome. Great Captain's Log. If I were an Edoan from TOS, I'd give you 3 thumbs up. Alright, so, my favorite ship from Starfleet Battles and FASA. Well, I guess you'll have to wait for that, because we're doing top 10 ships from FASA and Starfleet Battles soon. We're going to break it up into Federation ships, Klingon ships, Romulan ships, because there's a lot of cool ones in both FASA and Starfleet Battles. And Samuel's not very familiar with them, but I thought they'd be a great addition to the lineup, and I think you guys would really enjoy them, so I kind of pushed for it, and we're going to be doing those soon. So stay tuned. I can't give it away. I can't tell you now. Although it might be on my desk. I might have showed it off in a previous video. Once or twice, or a couple videos. My favorite FASA one, anyway. JMT, do you feel like Star Trek is getting too military? No. I know they've always been about exploration, but you can't have an exploration division going off into unknown territories without the military aspect of that. And I know Doug Drexler always comments that, Starfleet's not military, blah blah blah. I agree 100%. They're not. But at the same time, they need to be armed. They need to be ready for things. They need to have a big stick, because somewhere out there, somebody's got a bigger stick than you. And if you can't defend yourself, you're squashed and the whole Federation is gone. They're going to come to Earth, they're going to take over Earth, and you're screwed. So we need the military aspect of Star Trek. I don't think it's getting too military. I actually just recently found out yesterday that FASA was Paramount and CBS, whoever was the holders of the rights at the time, cut off ties with FASA and dubbed it non-canon simply because the FASA was too militaristic, and I don't agree with that. I think FASA was the way to go. It was the side canon, it was the filling stuff in, it made sense, and then they just squashed it all. So I don't think they should be bristling with weapons, like obvious weapons. I think the way they have it, very subtle, and if we need to, like they tell everybody, all the races that scan their ship and go, you have weapons, well, we need to defend ourselves. It's stupid to come out here without weapons. So that's my view on it. Andrew Hopkins, which Stargate SG model do you have in that box? From what little I could see, it was the Al-Kesh. Love the Stargate L-Cars. As for the Windows upgrade, I upgraded to the upgrade. I think he's talking about the Zat gun. I had a resin Zat gun in a box. That's the only Stargate thing I have. I'm not a fan of Stargate. My wife's a huge fan of Stargate. Samuel's a huge fan of Stargate. I watched a lot of Stargate. I just can't really get into it. I don't know. That's another discussion for another time. It's alright. I need to sit down and watch it all back to back. Then I might get into it, but... James Macy. I like your Trekyards and Captain's Logs. Well, thank you. Analysis of sci-fi. I have Windows 7 and I'm not upgrading to Windows 10, but that's just me. What is your opinion on the Deep Space Nine Valiant? I rewatched it and had the cadet crew. What in universe giving credits command of a starship. I know that the Star Trek 2009 had some plot points about cadets commanding a starship. What was that? Was still a cadet in the film. F-14 is a good fighter plane. I agree with you 100%. Okay, let's break this down a little bit. The Valiant episode's awesome. I love Red Squad. I think it's cool. I don't think they would necessarily get command of their own ship, though. I think that's really stupid. And if they did, it should be within Earth's solar system or relative neighborhood. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's silly. Galvers, another tour of Trekyards Command would be nice. Stop. Now again, the Stingray class model. Show again this Stingray class model and give more info about it. Looks awesome. Stop. Delete Vista. Stop. Great job. Wonderful work. Loot Cave, aka Trekyards Command, is awesome. Well, you want to see more of the Stingray class. Actually, I've got it. Or Stingray class. Got it in here. All my little 2500 scale ships. See? A whole bunch of them. The Stingray class is right here. And this had the option of having an additional warp nacelle on the top, or that weapons pod, which is basically a torpedo pod, which kind of answers the militaristic question of what I chose. The other warp nacelle didn't look quite right. Plus, I already had this one. So, yes, there will be an episode on the Stingray class and all these other classes as well in the future as time permits. So just be patient, guys. Good things come to those who wait and those who donate. Hate to push the donation thing. Like, I know that a lot of people don't have money, or a lot of money. Even I don't. But I mean, it helps us out. It really does. It gives you great content. We already give you a great show for free. So if you give us a little donation, you know, if everybody on our that subscribe to our channel, the 7,000 plus people, if everybody gave $1 a month to Patreon, it's $12 a year for everybody out of everybody's pocket. That would help us out hugely. Just saying. Brian Grider. On the matter of Windows 10 upgrade, the answer is yes, you should upgrade. Well, I did. I'm not going to read the rest of that. Mark Plot, dear Stuart Foley, get better. I had all 4 wisdom teeth out removed at the same time. They were all impacted, had to go. Fortunately, they prescribed the good stuff, Norco. Don't forget to get a lot of rest, which I haven't done. It's good for the blood, he says. Anyway, awesome episode as always, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Jasus, also, yeah, I think the Klingons fought at Wolf 359. There's a line of dialogue from Admiral Hansen, and that's not all. The Klingons are sending warships. We've even opened up talks with the Romulans, yeah. So yes, the Klingons did participate at Wolf 359. Wolf 359. Joseph asks, Appset. Something I've been wondering is that if the JJ verse is just an alternate universe, then why are there species that have never been seen in the prime timeline? Who knows? Ask JJ. There's a little bit of a discussion and conversation there, but I'm not going to get into it. Starfleet Battles Addict. Grin, I've previously stated, my God, you're 12. I now upgrade that, my gods, you're a millionaire, spoiled 12-year-old. Grin, you have more toys than my entire Star Trek fan club. Seriously, donate some of that stuff to Boys and Girls Clubs or something instead of keeping the stuff you don't display in bins. Well, I plan on displaying it in the future, so I'm keeping it in bins. Then he goes on to say, don't try Windows 10. Justin Capello. Hello, enjoy the videos and content. Was thinking about the new Trek movie since the questionable trailer first came out. Was wondering how people would feel about an ending that had Kirk being rewarded with the original Enterprise due to losses within the fleet and impending conflicts with Klingons and other threats. It's a good idea. Don't think it's going to happen. The idea being that they don't have enough time to build another new Enterprise and they would could upgrade available ships. They could show the original ship at the end of the movie and open the next installment with a refit version of the ship they had to modernize for its masses. God knows that would never happen, and the future of the franchise and cast would seem a bit murky. But sure, it sure if this is the best place to post it. It was interesting to hearing Trekyards' thoughts on the reintroduction of the original Constitution class ship and the likelihood of Simon Pegg and company doing such a thing. Keep up the great work. They would probably love to do it, but I don't think Bad Robot would agree. Bad Robot is very firm about keeping their franchise their own and not having it, be confused with the original Trek content. However, I do think at the end of Beyond, if the Enterprise gets destroyed, they need to get a new ship that's not Enterprise. They need to get like a new Excelsior. I would love to see a new Excelsior in JJ verse. I think it'd be cool. Hopefully, because I don't like the Excelsior in the Prime timeline, so I might like it in the JJ verse. Who knows? But I think they need to get a ship that's not Enterprise. Just move on. Just be Star Trek, not Enterprise. Same crew. Maybe they move on and do different things and split up a little bit, but I think that's the way to go. Phase Fitness. I'm sure the Klingons fought with Starfleet at Wolf 359. The Admiral tells Riker the Klingons are sending warships. A little discussion there. I'm not going to get into it. I want to get this wrapped up soon. It's getting kind of long. I know Samuel's like, oh, just do the first 10. I know. Just kidding, Samuel. Sean McDonald. If I could add something to the next Starfleet uniform, it would be pockets. I mean, seriously. I know. I mean, seriously. Pockets. It's the way to go. Starfleet uniform. They do need pockets. Ryan Shankland. Is Fleetyards continuing? And can you do Stargate ships? Yes and yes. Episode 3, if we hit that milestone, will be the X303, I think it's called. Earth's first ship or something. I don't know. Yeah, we'll do it. Don't worry. I get to research stuff. Samuel knows all about it anyway. Trevor LaForce again. Just talks about the Windows upgrade. Should do it. Commander Rotel. Sorry for double posting. I must admit I'm not a fan of Brian Fuller leading the charge. It's not that I don't like his work. I really do. I was just binge watching Hannibal recently and deeply, deeply wish it hadn't been canceled. But I'm afraid the new series is going to meet a similar fate really soon. I don't think so. But if Doug says it's fine, I'm going to give him a proper chance. I just hope the number of monkeys at that snort description service thingy they're airing it on will do it well. As for the new show taking place in the Prime timeline and after Spock left is literally all I'm asking for. If it's good on top of that, I'll consider it as a bonus. Hoping that for a Galaxy class as hero ship is probably a bit too much to ask. Maybe a cameo. I want a Galaxy cameo. Well, here's a Galaxy cameo for you. I've been following the Trekyards feed lately, but this is the ship that was missing from my lineup in there. I broke it. It's broken. Ha! He's better. But yeah, this is in here for a specific reason, and I'm not going to say what that is, but I've been examining it very closely. I need to do some paint touch-up. There was a light leak around the light there. The Artist Island doesn't really do a good job with that. Light leaks. Fixed it up, though. Got it to match. So, Galaxy class. So there's a cameo for you here, just in case it's not in the new series. Hope that helps you out. You owe me one. JMT, also, I like the Section 31 thing, too. Bo Svensson, do you know anything about this new show coming out next year? I was unable to find anything concrete online. They're keeping it very hush-hush. There's not very much going on as far as that goes. We'll get little sneak peeks every once in a while, but no, I don't know much about it. In your opinions, which vessel do you think would win in a firefight between a Galaxy class and a Nebula class, and why? Probably the Nebula class if it had the additional pod on the top that had the extra torpedo launchers. Plus they're more stout, compact. I think they might handle it getting hit a bit better. But overall, I don't like the Nebula class. It's not a favorite design of mine. JMT, yes, I'm in the Navy, and yes, they would, but normally there is an addition. Normally they are as an addition to their normal job. Chef is also a firefighter, gun guard is a caterer, carbo sometimes even swimmer of the watch. Well, that was talking to somebody else. Sorry, I shouldn't have read that. Sean McDonald, sends a donation. Unfortunately, it is in Canadian, so it's not very much. Every little bit helps, guys. Even $1, like I said. I love the F-14, and it's a shame they're decommissioning them for the rubbish F-35s. Well, the F-14's already been decommissioned. The F-18 put it out of service, so... Seawolf 21s. Captain, are you and your commander going to be at the 50th anniversary convention of Las Vegas this August? Do you think the third nacelle and the dreadnoughts are there for a redundancy because of their design for combat missions? As for Vegas, hopefully, I'm hoping to be able to go. Like I said, I went in 2013 before Trekyards even existed. Now that I'm kind of a familiar face, I'm hoping to go, and we're hoping to maybe... Hopefully that'll be around the launch time of our store, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's no plans right now officially, but I would love to go. As for the third nacelle and a dreadnought being for redundancy because of combat missions, absolutely. More power for weapons, more backup systems. And yeah, if one nacelle goes down, you still got a backup redundancy one. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, actually. Kharkov, thanks for the tour. Loved it. I would love to see more of your collection. I just want to thank you for taking the time to follow your passion for Star Trek and sharing it with the world. Trekyards is the type of show my friends and I use to sit around and think about. This ship versus that. Details, details, details. Now that we are adults, we are living our own lives and have moved on all over the country. It's nice to be able to watch Trekyards and feel connected to the Trek world again. Thank you. Well, thank you. We really appreciate feedback like that. And yes, we want to be like your friends, and just... A lot of people say that watching our show is like sitting down with a friend and just being in on the conversation, because Sam and I just can't converse about the ships. So they feel like they're part of the conversation. They're just sitting down with some friends. And I think that's why Trekyards works. We are us. The way you see us on screen here right now, this is me. So you guys feel like you personally know me, which is weird when I meet some of you out in the real world and I have no idea who you are. You know everything about me because you watch me all the time, every week. And it's a strange feeling, but normally I'm very shy and I'm not good at public speaking, and I wouldn't be able to do this. And I know thousands of people watch, and we have over 1.5 million views on YouTube now. So a lot of people have watched me make an ass of myself in most cases. But anyway, so if it's just me and the camera, or it's just me and Samuel on camera, and it allows us to be us. Whereas when we're in front of a crowd, if we ever do a convention and we have to do a panel or something, I might be a little bit more nervous. Who knows? Because I know a lot of people are watching. I know a lot of people are watching this too, but at the same time, it's just me and my camera right now. So I can be me. And I am me, 100% in all these videos. So, anyway, yes, thank you for watching, and we're glad that you feel like you're part of that little Trek family friend community again. That's exactly what we want you to feel like. Bill 23799. There's only 3 more comments, guys. I have a question. Why does the Dreadnought class have an additional navigational deflector on the stern of the ship? Did ships then have a reverse on the gear shift knob? Multipass. Yes, we know it's a multipass. Slave Leia is like a cowbell. We need more. Great collection. Thanks for the tour. Okay, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The deflector on the back of the Dreadnought is not necessarily a deflector. It could be an advanced long-range sensor suite. It could be a long-range sensor, or not sensor, subspace communicator to communicate with the starbase directly at more faster speeds. Maybe send more information more efficiently. Who knows? It's also the lead of battle groups mainly, so it could sit in the middle of a battle group of a large space battle directing traffic and have multiple sensors and scanners to see what's going on and where, and communicate with all the other ships. So it's not a deflector per se. I mean, it could probably be used as one if you flew in reverse, but Kharkov says, so Trek question. What are your thoughts on projectile-based weapons in the Trek universe? I'm thinking hand weapons. We know most races seem to exclusively use energy-based handheld weapons, but why? We have seen time and time again that simple shielding can't block this. Also, how many times have we witnessed energy-based weapons rendered useless by an energy drain or something of that nature? I would think that by this time they would be able to develop some amazing projectile-based weaponry, Borg to deal with. 45 Tommy gun, please. As a backup style defensive weapon, I think it would be an amazing thoughts, Captain. I agree. I've wondered the same thing over the years. I would think not all races would have energy-based weapons. Some would still have projectile weapons. It'd be cool to have 2 in 1. The main part of the gun is the energy weapon, but like you said, if it goes down, it gets drained, whatever, right beside it there's a projectile with maybe a limit of like 5 projectiles. Or I've even speculated that they should have a mini transporter built in so it can transport any kind of like a replicator transporter combination. It can replicate a bullet, lead bullet, and fire it out of the barrel. Replicate a tranquilizer dart with the tranquilizer in it, because the medical kits, you can replicate different serums and antidotes and stuff. So why not have that in a gun? So you can make it a multi-purpose projectile weapon as well, and then even have the transmitter at the tip like the TR-116, whereas you can shoot it and beam it through a wall, so you can shoot somebody in the next room. I mean, that would be amazing. There's so many possibilities. There you go, guys. CBS, you're watching this. Pay attention to it and do that. Captain Lokiowa. Danger, Will Robinson. Might be a long comment. It's actually not that long, so it's okay, guys. As always, Mon Capitan, I thank you for reading these comments, even mine. Continuing on about the christening. Oh, that would have been rad to see a Chateau Picard bottle hitting the Enterprise E for its christening, even though someone will have to clean that area off before it stains the hull. Or else you'll be forgotten until an alien notices it and decides not to join the Federation because of how unclean Starfleet would seem to them. By the way, about the tour of your abode. As an eager Romulan wanting to see the inside of the Federation's flagship, I wouldn't mind seeing your little house on the prairie. And I've always thought that I always thought that area was in a basement of sorts. I thought wrong because the furnace misled me. Well, you are right. This is a basement. This is actually the laundry room of my house. So we got Trekyards Central Command over here, furnace beside me. Over there is the washer and dryer. Over there is my wife's little spot where she sits. Over there I got a bookcase full of Star Wars and Star Trek and Transformers novels and things. In the next room that we were just in, that's our bedroom. So the basement is kind of like our little apartment. So it's my wife and I's bedroom. Got my main collection in there. You go up the stairs, you got a kitchen. Got a little bathroom off the kitchen. You got the dining room. Got the living room, which you've seen in some of my other videos. I've actually done a tour of the house before. In one of my older videos. I don't remember what it's called, so I can't even tell you what to look up, but it's in one of those videos. I've done the whole house. You go upstairs, and there's a bathroom at the top of the stairs, and there's 3 kids' bedrooms upstairs, and they're all full of kids. Once the kids leave, then we can start migrating this stuff upstairs, and then I'm going to redo this entire basement, finish it, have a huge projection TV, or projector, to project 180-inch on the wall. Get a couch down here, get the rest of my collection out of bins, put them on display, and have a bigger expanded work area underneath the stairs over there instead of here beside me in front of the freezer. So, I mean, you got to make do with what you have, and I think I've done a fairly good job of that. So I might do one of my other Captain's Logs coming up. I think the next one I'm going to show you some of my books and a few other things that I have over there. At the beginning of the Captain's Log, and then maybe the next one we will do a quick tour of the house or something, or just show off the living room or something. So there you have it. That's it for my Captain's Log, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. I mean, you saw the collection, and I just want to thank you guys again for getting us to our Patreon goal of $700, so now we can make you the NSEA Protector video. Fleetyards is something that's going to be a regular thing if we hit the $1,000 mark on Patreon, as I've said before, but it's not going to be a weekly thing. It's maybe a monthly, maybe even quarterly thing a year, because it does take a lot of time to do each episode, to do them well, and to do them the way that you guys expect them to be done. And since, honestly, I'm not an expert in every ship and every sci-fi franchise, like with Star Trek, researching them takes a little bit more time, a little bit more, might need help from some of you guys if you guys are specialists or experts in things. I know Samuel's an expert in a lot of sci-fi ships that I don't know about, so he'll be able to take that on. But I mean, combined with our regular Trekyards duties and our real life, that's an extra thing on our plate. So they will be regular episodes, but they won't be every week, obviously. Trekyards will still continue to give you the weekly dose of Star Trek, but Fleetyards is going to be something more staggered and it's going to be on a regular basis, but it's not going to be weekly. I think that's all I have to say about that. But anyway, thanks again, guys, and tune in next time for a new Captain's Log, a new tour of some of my stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This one kind of flowed out of me really well. I rather enjoyed this one. And I thank you guys for all your comments, questions, and stuff, even for Samuel's videos. I enjoy watching Samuel's videos. I know he watches mine all the time when he's editing. Learns a lot of stuff from me that he might not have known. And I'm learning a lot of stuff watching his videos. I really enjoy those. So, yeah. Thanks, guys. Anyway, I think I shall call it quits and talk to you all very soon. Till then, till next time, it's Captain Foley saying, live long and prosper, and I will see you guys next time. Now get back to work. Duty stations, everyone.